All right, so what, does anybody know anything about emotional exhaustion? Is that a true thing? This every weekend I've had up until now, I've cried myself, just cried myself out every weekend, and except for this weekend. And this weekend I felt so emotionally empty. Or it's not really emotionally empty, because like it's not true. Like I feel like I was down by the river and I saw a place where Keela and I just spent like a ton of time, and it made me smile. So I'm emotional. I'm just like emotionally exhausted. I can't cry anymore, it seems like, and probably good, like maybe maybe there's a limit, or maybe there's just a point where your body's like, maybe that is like a signal that I have like processed enough emotion that it's no longer overflowing or overwhelming or whatever. We're back to the walnut tree. So it might be combined with a couple other things, or maybe it's all connected, because I feel emotionally exhausted, yes. I also feel physically exhausted. I've still been sleeping like 9-10 hours, and that's normal for me now. And yet I still feel tired all the time. Like, actually, I'll feel like I need to get out of bed, and then maybe 2 hours later, like, I feel like going back to bed. So the new COVID restrictions, or the old COVID restrictions, have gone back into effect, and that has like got the public really stressed out. And I've been avoiding, seeing any of that on the internet, but in real life I see it a lot, and it's just like, it just wears me out. Like I'm getting worn out dealing with people who are worn out. Like they've gone as far as they wanted to go. Like whatever, like people are like they're over it. They're like, we got to the point where like we just don't want to have to deal with it anymore. Or we don't want to hear about it anymore. Apple tree. Which I'm like fine with. Fine. That sounds great to me too. So that added stress, the massive amount of heat that I worked through, that kind of wiped me out as well. And then on top of that, where does the body and even the mind, of course, get its energy from? And that's from food. And I've been doing the calorie deficit stuff, and I've been losing weight. But I was like looking at some of like the snack bars I get, like the nut snack bars. Like there's like chocolate and stuff like that. So I might be getting more sugar than I'm used to, and that might also be kind of like making me bonk. Where is a plum tree? Is this a plum tree? This is a plum tree. Yeah, I bet you this used to be like a homestead area right here. I bet someone lived here and then probably lost their house when they built up the flood protection for the Columbia River. That's nice. It's nice to think about a time where someone would have planted a tree like this so that their kids would have a huge amount of walnuts just to store in the barn. So I guess one last thing. Jesus, my brain's scattered. So then, like, trying to limit my screen time, and I think that like I was like just having a few beers and like cutting out alcohol, but like it's the weekend, I'm gonna have a couple beers. But I think that was a mistake, because I think that like your brain kind of gets chemically dependent upon that stimulation, and as long as it's getting it a little bit, it might not trigger its own like chemical reward system for like when I go for a bike ride or whatever, or or like the desire for the bike ride is to get that payoff. The brain's like, well, maybe you'll crack open a beer and watch Monty Python or something like that. Let's wait for that. So I'm gonna be like even more determined to limit screen time and to completely cut out alcohol until I find that my brain is starting to produce, like, you know, the endorphins of joy for taking like a walk, doing something simple. Like, so yesterday, like, the kitchen was so dirty. I started cleaning it, but it was so dirty. I was like, I can't even cook in here. And so even the bike ride to the Icky Burrito place that I promised myself I wouldn't eat at anymore, I felt kind of good. You know, it was nice to get my legs moving, and nice to see, you know, feel the wind in my face and whatnot. So yeah, I think that's where I'm at. I think that I just got to the point where I couldn't cry anymore, and that's okay. Physically tired from work, that's normal. Staying up too late, probably after work. So I might start thinking, like, I think about going to bed earlier, of course, but also, like, if I change my schedule and get off earlier in the day, then I'll still be able to do some evening stuff and still be able to get to bed on time. So that might be something to think about. My diet probably needs a closer look. There might be more sugar involved in my diet than I was aware of, and might just not be the right balance of foods. And yeah, the dopamine thing, like the computer and the occasional beers. That's got to, like, you know, become 0 beers and very rarely getting on the computer until my brain starts kicking back in. Anyway, that's my idea.